Good morning, all, depending on when you're watching this. Good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, I had a voice radio. So today, we're going to be looking at Alolan Marowak-GX. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Hang on a second, Wassy. Isn't this the third GX video you've done today? Isn't this the first day of Worlds? Aren't you going to be sitting in front of your computer waiting to make videos about an announcement which is inevitably coming from the opening ceremony because it has the last couple of years? Yes. I don't think the official Japanese website needed to reveal all three of these GXs on one day. I think they could have waited. But I ain't waiting, ladies and gentlemen, because when new GXs are revealed, I make videos. So Alolan Marowak-GX, it's actually going to be a promo card giving out at Japanese tournaments, so no word on exactly how we're getting it. Ones like Beware used to be promos and they had their own boxes, whereas there are other promos, like for instance Alolan Raticate, who waited a year and then got dumped into one of our sets seemingly at random. So I suppose hold tight to see how we're actually getting this. Is it any good? I'll be honest with you, I actually really like it. And we've been waiting. We've had a couple of Alolan Marowak cards already, both of which have been interesting enough to consider playing, but this one I think really tips us over the scales into awesome. Our translation here comes from Google Translate, massively assisted by the lovely Tunu1223, who confirmed what I had right and corrected what I didn't. He's lovely, and if you're not following him on Twitter, you should be. So it's a 200 HP fire Pokemon. 200 HP is in line with something like Lycanroc, but lower than Zoroark, so as a stage 1 GX we could do better. Weakness to water is fine because maybe something like Glaceon becomes big, but at the moment water's not seeing much play. Retreat cost of 2 is awkward because you don't get free retreat with Escape Board, which sucks. And being a fire Pokemon's actually really nice. We're going to have Heat Factory Prism Star soon, which allows you to discard a fire energy from your hand and draw 3 cards, which is quite nice. You've got Kiawe to accelerate energy, if you so wish, and you're hitting weakness against grass Pokemon like Golisopod and metal Pokemon like Duskmane Necrozma. It's not a bad typing to have at all. But we need to see if the abilities and attacks are good, and I'm just putting it out there. There are a couple things about this Pokemon that I really like. The ability says that if this is your active Pokemon and is damaged by an opponent's attack, even if it's KO'd, the attacking Pokemon is now confused. I thought it was Burn, I am dumb, that was wrong, but Tunu1223's got my back and I love him for that. I love attacks like this. Now, they're not going to win the game, but they are great attacks to be using if you're having it anyway. Because you know what? Confusion's annoying. Yeah? You get damaged by an attack and then you're confused. If the Pokemon tries to attack, they flip a coin. If tails, they take 3 damage counters and the attack fails. Back in the olden days, if you tried to retreat with confusion, you'd have to flip a coin. And if tails, you couldn't retreat. That was fun. Fun times. Unfortunately, that's not the case anymore, but it still forces your opponent to get out of the active. It still forces them to have to use a Guzma or use an Ace Roller or even just retreat, or they're going to have to flip a coin, and no one wants to flip for confusion. Confusion's one of those brilliant things where they could end up wasting so many resources trying to get around confusion, or they could end up risking it flipping tails and actually getting KO'd from it. Now, it takes a bit of time to kick in. Of course, they attack, get confused, it's your go, you have your go. Then they get to their go, have their go and try and attack. It takes a while, but I still like it. This is great. I don't think this is a reason to play the card, although the artwork might be. The artwork is beautiful, but I think it is a great ability if you're having it there anyway. If you really want to take the mick, you can even play something like Poison Barb as well, so if they attack you and do damage, they are both poisoned and confused. Maybe it's over the top, but I think that could be a fun little combo. So good ability, but we need some attacks. The main attack here, Fire Double Colorless, 90 damage, plus Burn. It's fine. It's fine. It's a little bit overpriced, if I'm honest with you. Now, don't get me wrong, there's a lot to like about this, right? Burn, between turns, put 20 damage and flip a coin if heads are no longer burned. But don't forget, we've got Weller Volcano Park, which means that if you flip heads, you're still burned. We've got Infernape in both flavors, which means that you take 6 damage counters from burn rather than 2. Although, just to be clear, I don't think you should use Infernape because it's a stage 2, but it's an option. Okay, so burn's quite nice. And you can use double colorless energy, which will lower the cost of this quite considerably. And to be honest with you, you're hitting the numbers. So let's say you are hitting for weakness. You're hitting 180. Now, to be fair, that's actually not enough for Duskmane Necrozma, which kind of sucks. In fact, it's not enough for many of them. It will get Kartana GX, but it won't get many of them. But as soon as you add a choice band here, you're up to 240, which will get your Duskmane Necrozma, will get your Golisopod, will get Decidueye. That's not enough to KO a Metagross. Oh no, wait. Yes, it is, because you're burning. You do 120, double with weakness up to 240, they're not KO'd, burn kicks in, they take 20 damage, they are KO'd, jobs are good, and yay! You're KOing with weakness here. Now, if you're not hitting for weakness, it's a whole different story. Now, with burn, you'll still get something like a Tapu Koko, and you will get a whole bunch of evolving Pokemon. Something like Curlier cannot stand up to this. But honestly, if you're not hitting for weakness, you're not doing enough. Now, this is a great 2-hit KO attack, and you've got 200 HP and a weakness that's rarely going to be hit. So actually, it's unlikely you're going to be 1-hit KO'd here by a lot of things. So you can afford to 2-hit KO. But it's a stage 1 for free energy. I worry that it's just a little bit too much for too little. I worry that it's not efficient enough, that the attack cost compared to the damage is just a little bit too high. That is not to say it's a bad attack, and if you're hitting for weakness, it's a great attack. But I'm not sure I'm buying it 100%. The GX attack, however, oh lordy, the GX attack is absolutely great. It's for 0 energy. I know, right? Free GX attack. And it's not the first one we've ever seen. Alolan Raticate had a free GX attack. Alolan Muck had a free GX attack. But am I willing to call this the best free GX attack we've had so far? Yes. And I don't think it's all that close. I adore this GX attack. What it does for 0 energy is it does 50 damage to 2 of your opponent's Pokemon. Do not apply weakness and resistance. Okay, it's fine. Doesn't even seem to apply weakness and resistance in the active. But it's fine. But I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, if you KO Pokemon using this attack, they don't go to the discard. They go to the Lost Zone. And we saw this with Tyranitar just a little while ago. What we're seeing here, and right, it's coming out in a set called Lost Thunder, so this probably shouldn't surprise anybody. And I did do a video calling this, but again, it wasn't exactly the hardest prediction to make. The Lost Zone is back. And it's not just, hey, if I use a Prism Star, it goes to the Lost Zone. No, it's back. It's properly back. The Lost Zone is here, and it's taking Pokemon off of the game. The Lost Zone is like a second discard pile from which Pokemon cannot be recovered. If you use this GX attack correctly, it will crush your opponent. And yeah, okay, I know that it's not doing enough damage to KO anything. If this did 60, it would be utterly broken. Because you could get stuff like a Ralts or a Zorua, and by A, I mean 2 of them. And that would be absolutely wonderful, because they'd be gone now, and your opponent would have 2 Zorua for the game. In Expanded, you could use this against something like a Joltik, and then they've only got 2 Joltik for the game. If you find yourself against something with a 30 HP basic, you can get rid of 2 of them for the game. Although, and this is very important, we do have a Magikarp that's got an attack which would block this because it's got Submerge, and similarly we have got a Feebas that's got an attack that will block this because it's got Submerge. So the 2 most prominent 30 HP Pokemon that are likely to be played do have an ability which will essentially get rid of this, which is a bit of a pain, okay, but still, if you can find your opponent's Pokemon with a little bit of damage on, you can get them. Imagine this. You're up against a Zoroark deck. You get a Tapu Koko. You put 20 damage on all of your opponent's Pokemon. They are having a bad start to the game. They are unable to draw their Zoroark. You evolve into Alolan Marowak for 0 energy. Bearing in mind Tapu Koko's got free retreat. You get to put 50 damage on each of those 2 Zorua. They go to the Lost Zone. Your opponent's got to play the rest of the game with a maximum 2 Zorua, and that's if none of them are prize. They can't rescue Stretcher them back. They cannot recover them. They are gone for the game. This is a GX attack that, if used correctly, will break the game wide open. This isn't one of those GX attacks where you, like Duskmane Necrozma, where you're like, I get a big KO and I KO one of your Pokemon and I take a prize or 2 prizes. It's not that kind of GX attack. This is a GX attack whereby, if you time it correctly, you can take a couple of prizes and wreck your opponent's setup. We've all been there. Oh, they're going to KO my Pokemon, but it's alright, I've got a Rescue Stretcher and an Ultra Ball. I'll just get it right back again. No, you won't, ladies and gentlemen. No, you won't. For the potential alone, I am giving Alolan Marowak 4 Wassies. I'm not a huge fan of the main attack. It's fine, but it's a little bit overpriced. But the GX attack here is nuts if you use it correctly, and the ability, confusing when they attack you, is not great, but it's a lovely little bonus that will work sometimes and will be great when it does. I am a fan of this Pokemon. We just have no idea when it's being released. But I want to know what you think. Do you think this GX attack is good, or do you think it's a little bit awkward? Bearing in mind, it's for 0 energy, so you can literally put a 1/1 line of this into any deck you like to take advantage of it. Something to think about. Go nuts, but remember the rule, ladies and gentlemen. Do be nice. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all of that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing, as always, is to look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.